In this video, we're going to look at Leeds, Burnley and Wolves and suggest one signing for each that realistically could tilt their season and give them every chance of staying in the Premier League. Let's go. The quickest route to survival, especially in January, feels like adding a reliable source of end product, which is much easier said than done. West Ham have Jared Bowen's reliability in moments that can swing games. Burnley and Wolves don't really have that kind of profile, but Leeds, they can find it and should go and find it, in my opinion. Right winger Elan Kebell would raise the floor immediately at Leeds United. At 27, he's in his prime, a left-footed right winger whose first thought is to receive, square a defender and drive into central areas to change the picture. He has been the centre of Paris FC's smooth adjustment to Ligue 1. In 14 league games, he's got 6 goals and 4 assists. I can tell you that's 0.73 goals and assists per 90, which puts him in the top 11% among players in comparable positions. As shown here against Saint Etienne, he beats his man by cutting inside, pausing at the right moment, shifting the ball to bait the block and finish in the top left corner. Kebell is an on-ball winger who wants the ball to feet, ride the contact, manipulate the angle at times and commit the fullback before finding the right pass because he's a chance creator too. He sits in the top 15% for shot creating actions at 4.62 per 90, which tells you he supplies chances consistently. And again here, as shown from their 1-0 win against Rennes, he receives on the right touchline, sees the threaded pass and plays it through for a shot on goal. From those inside pockets, he threads passes between the fullback and the centre-back, the kind that can pull a back line diagonally and expose the far post. His final third volume is also elite, 5.95 passes into the final third per 90. That sees him in the top 1%. Kebell is such a good foul winner too, because defenders simply can't get square once he shifts the ball across his body. At 2.64 fouls per 90, he finds himself in the top 5% for that metric. And it's shown here, he drops his shoulder to beat the defender and gets fouled in the process. Those pauses matter for a team that needs that time and the set piece value at Ellen Road as well. That could be a really, really interesting asset that Kebell would bring. There's almost, dare I say, a touch of Rafinha in the way that he plays. He balances risk and incision. He'll hold on to the ball. There'll be the odd miscontrol because he plays on the edge, but Leeds, I think, and most teams down there at times, as much as you do want stability, control as much as you can do, that bit of edge is quite important too. Those moments of magic, those players that can step up when you least expect it and get something from a moment. Ultimately, football, and now I'm contradicting myself because I'm throwing so much data at you, a lot of football is based on moments. And I think he has shown in the examples I've shown you so far and throughout this video, he is a moments player. He really, really is. You also see here against Marseille, he draws the defender in, senses that hesitation, shifts the ball onto his left, and once again finishes into the top corner. It's a trademark move at this point. I think structurally he also fits too, and almost practically. He can play as a wide right in the 4-3-3, he can invert onto his left, combine with the right-sided 8, or flip onto the left side in games to attack the back post. 2, because he's got that pace to sort of drive and take players on in a direct sense down the touchline. I think he gives Daniel Farke a way to move the ball forward even when the build-up behind isn't the cleanest. And if Leeds are going to survive, they've got to raise their goal and assist totals. Kebell will give them both. They'll give them a threat on goal, and he'll also give them a chance creating side too, with top-level metrics across the board, totally across the board.
Want to take your football analysis to the next level? Visit totalfootballanalysis.com now and get a 2-week free trial. Gain exclusive access to in-depth match breakdowns, scouting reports and expert insights. Don't miss out. Start your free trial today.
Burnley spent the summer, as expected, adding players for their survival push. Kyle Walker brought that experience, Michael Edwards added that dynamism, Florentino arrived on loan to steady the midfield. The problem hasn't been the lack of names, it's been the late game details. They've lost to stoppage time winners against Manchester United and Liverpool, which granted, you probably wouldn't expect them to win anyway, but it does show us that late on in games, there's a bit of a problem there. Their expected table points does paint an even worse picture, unfortunately. Some people buy into expected points, others don't, but I think it does tell us partly what's going on. Despite sitting 19th right now, their underlying numbers suggest they should actually be bottom, closer to 6 points than 10 points. And of course, we know survival starts with compactness, penalty box security, and discipline. And it seems Burnley desperately need a centre-back who can lead them in those moments. The squad isn't bad on paper. I think Scott Parker probably could be doing a little bit more with what he's got available to him. But Harry Maguire, I think he would offer that penalty box security and discipline. Look, Esteve has been the standout defender. Of course, he's quick, he's composed, he was linked with some big moves in the summer. He stayed at Burnley. But I do think Scott Parker's team could do with an experienced defender who wins that first contact and organises the last line. And Harry Maguire, he fits the bill. He's not first choice at Manchester United at the moment. And with the World Cup approaching, if he does want to go to the World Cup, which we expect he does do, regular minutes matter. He's won 73.6% of his aerial duels. That sees him in the top 2%. So even with limited minutes, his aerial dominance is obvious. He clears the area, blocks shots, and takes pride in physical defending. Maguire's 1.63 interceptions per 90 sees him in the top 7% too, which I think, again, highlights that aerially, fantastic, but even on the deck, he can do a job to a good degree as well. And finally, Wolves, who are the only side without a win across the Premier League and the EFL right now. And the issues stretch across the pitch. But the position that I think transmits the most anxiety is in goal. Between Jose Sarr and Sam Johnston, there's been very little stability. They've conceded 28 goals, roughly 9.5 above expected. James Trafford would be the ideal goalkeeper, but he's going to be on the list for a lot of teams in January. And bottom of the league, Wolves, who haven't won a game, does seem a little bit unrealistic. So instead, we're going to put forward Anthony Patterson of Sunderland, who I think is a possible name they could bring in the winter. Patterson is 25 years of age and has already experienced some pretty high pressure environments, including the playoffs only just last season. I think the appeal for Patterson to join Wolves starts with the basics. He's a clean shot stopper with strong hands and a balanced stance, which sounds very, very basic, but Wolves at the moment, they are lacking in the basics department, and the goalkeepers are severely struggling. He makes himself big early in 1v1s. His timing off the line needs a little bit of refinement. So that is something to think about. Dealing with Premier League level aerial traffic will be the next step as well. We haven't seen that. He's only played EFL minutes for Sunderland, but his baseline techniques are solid and certainly coachable. And for a goalkeeper at 25, there's still plenty of room left in him. His distribution has improved as well. He nearly now averages 30 passes per 90, which is in around top 25%. But of course, first and foremost, Wolves, they need a bit of composure. They need somebody who can turn what is a pretty chaotic back line right now into slightly more controlled actions. And I think stabilising that back line is the first step and will need to be addressed in January. I think Patterson gives them that in goal, and that's the player we're putting forward for Wolves. So it's clear Leeds, Burnley and Wolves need to be proactive in January if they want a real chance of staying in the league. And I think those three signings that we've mentioned directly address the biggest structural problems in each squad, and we put forward a solution. Leeds, Burnley and Wolves fans, let me know in the comment section down below. What does your ideal January transfer window look like? Let us know. See you very soon.
Want to take your football analysis to the next level? Visit totalfootballanalysis.com now and get a 2-week free trial. Gain exclusive access to in-depth match breakdowns, scouting reports and expert insights. Don't miss out. Start your free trial today.